countryman. You see 'em all over this great old land, from the northeast, west, and southern ends. They ain't shy about what they think or making a stand. What we're talking about is a countryman. What we're talking about is a countryman. What we're talking about is a countryman.
Drop your pants next to the bed, that's just what the woman said. The look upon her face was mighty boy. Drop your drawers and stay a while, she said calmly with a smile. Told her I was not that kind of boy. I was just a boy of teens, it was yesterday it seems. Walking down the street after a dance. By the corner stood a girl with her hair all up in curls. Her motion to me wasn't hard to grasp. Well, she had things I'd never seen, and Lord knows I was pretty green. She motioned me to follow her sweet path. She said, honey, come upstairs. I knelt and said my prayers. As I closed the door, here's what she said to me.
Come here, you sweet thing.
Drop your pants next to the bed, that's just what the woman said. The look upon her face was mighty coy. Drop your drawers and stay a while, she said calmly with a smile. Told her I was not that kind of boy. Well, I knew not what to do, so I just removed my shoes. After all, I didn't know her well. I was nervous as could be. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. A quarter after midnight, and I'm watching the wall. Sometimes I feel so uptight, I just can't sleep at all. Every day doing the same old thing, we're losing time. The weekend comes, we gotta have some fun and rewind. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. I feel the rope a tightening, choking off our air. We need to grab some lightning. Friday's almost here. Caught in a web, we need to cut this thread we're hanging by. Where is it said you have to be half dead to survive? These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder.
There it be. It is time for us
to get this show on the road.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for WordPress plugins A to Z, not Z.
It's episode number 12 of Plugin Pulse, WP Plugins A to Z Unplugged.
Ladies and
Oops. WordPress, the king of content management systems, powering the web with over 80,000 plugins to choose from. How do you sort the junk from the gems? Welcome to WP Plugins A to Z, where we've been keeping the pulse of WordPress alive for over 16 incredible years. Join us every week for an unrehearsed, real talk breakdowns of the latest and greatest plugins, developer and community member interviews. Some weeks, Amber and I team up to dig in. Others, I'm flying solo, unpacking WordPress news, demoing a standout plugin, or sharing tips to power up your site. No scripts, no fluff, just the good stuff from A to Z. So plug in and let's get rolling. Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be hiding out there on the globe today. Coming to you direct from the other brewery overlook here in beautiful southern Vancouver Island. And I'm John Overall, and I'm here all by my lonesome today. Again, well, every other week by my lonesome, every other week with Amber to the show. And for those that don't know, doing a weekly podcast can sometimes be a challenge, creating the content, coming up with something week after week. But here we are doing that today, talking ideas from the WordPress community. We've got a little bit of stuff going on for, I still got to refine these notes to be able to read them a little bit better. All right, let's see what we got here. There it is. Talking more about the supply chain breaks and hacks, plugin extras, plugin reviews, and more. So let's just get right into it and dive into the fun of it all, because where would it be? All right, let's go talk about the supply chain hacks and attacks on WordPress. We all know about the one with 30-some plugins that recently crossed our paths. The 80 plugins, thought it was 30. 80 plugins from WP Factory. They were closed on WordPress.org. And after a suspected plugin, this is a new one. Sorry, the other one was 30 plugins. This is a new one. I got to keep them straight. It's like last week, there was a whole bunch. We got several to talk about here. This one here, user reported a security issue on the Pro version of WP Factory's EU, UK, VAT, WooCommerce plugin, distributed via its official website. And they'd reported this on GitHub, and they didn't get a response, so then they took it to the next level and reported them to WordPress to see if they could get their attention. I bet it did. And this here, accordingly to the article, the creator of the plugin responded they couldn't get the issue happening, and suggested it was the plugin developer's site that was creating the problem. Well, they went further into it, and they found that it wasn't that. And this is a problem we've got here, which, when it comes from the developer, that's a significant issue. When it's the developer being compromised, I think this one here I've got, it was the developer that was compromised, a solid WordPress plugin, hidden. Oh, no, this is another one where, and this one here came from Austin Grinder, I believe, over at Anchor, and he found it inside plugins. And we'll get to, he's actually created a system for us to monitor and be able to look this stuff up and see what's happening with it. But this one here was a scroll to top plugin with over 20,000 active installs, and the WP plugin team review team closed it and then shipped a version past what they have that cleans it up a little bit, but at least prevents the back door. what these developers had done was they had bypassed, if you put your plugin in WordPress.org, you can't bypass the official WordPress.org updating. And at least you're not supposed to, but many, many plugin developers do. But what that does is that can lead to them abusing it. Now, it's really funny is they're using the Giannis plugin update checker, which I use in my plugins that I create. So he goes through and explains what it's doing, talks to you a bit about what's up with it, and then how to clean it up if you end up with a problem. So make sure you go check out, if you're using this particular plugin, the Scroll to Top plugin from this developer, which is Scroll to Top. What's the developer's name again? We'll find it here. Nope, I don't see it in there, but it's in the post. So you can go check that one out. Now we have another one here. The repository was talking about this one. And oops, that's not the one I want. Got to get the right URL. Okay, quick page post redirect after plugin author operated years long backdoor. Okay, this was a years long backdoor. Oh, it's right up about the one I was just talking about. Okay, so it doubles back, but we've had several of these in the last few weeks. So you need to be aware of these issues with the plugin developers that are basically slipping through the cracks, or they sell the plugin to somebody who then turns it into the one from 2 weeks ago, I think I talked about it, is that they sold the plugin, the new developers, then inserted a backdoor hack, uploaded it, and just said, oh, it's just a standard double check to make sure it's compatible with the latest version of WordPress. And then it sat sitting there for quite some time. I think it was a year or two that it sat sitting there. And then they activated it. At that point there, virtually everybody who used the plugin had it installed. I know I had. I think that's what I covered, I covered up the fact that it happened to me, because I was using a plugin, and I ended up reverting back to a pre-hack version of the plugin to continue using it, because I really liked the plugin. It was a countdown timer. That's what it was. So Austin Grinder, who's been reporting most of this stuff, he's come up with a fix for it. He went and created wpbeacon.io, and at wpbeacon.io, it's watching the WordPress plugin supply chain over at wordpress.org. And he shows how many plugins are being watched, the authors being tracked, the installs that are being covered, the forensic audits. There's been 19 of them. 19 are malicious. Well, that's an increase over the other day. That's very problematic. Okay, well, the scroll to the top, we know about that one. We just talked about it. Widget logic. Now, this is an interesting one. Quick page, post redirect plugin. Okay. Seed out of band channel update, and then serve tampered builds through that channel after WP org distributed code. So 33 plugin suite. This is an interesting. That one's kind of new. With 180,000 installs. WP Advanced Math Captcha. I heard about that one. Never used it. Web Image Optimization X. And 27 plugin suite. I suggest that you go check this out, folks. This is a very useful tool that Austin's created for us. It shows you this. It explains. He's got an explanation here on why he built this. He talks about the signals he watches and what they mean or don't mean. Are they important? He watches plugin audits. looks at the README files. He looks for a plugin author change, which can or cannot be thing, but it is a high trigger. Version compare trap. Release version is structured to beta feature. So release versions that are in there. So he looks at a lot of things in here. He built this out for us to have a fantastic tool that will help us along the way of helping to protect our websites. So go check out this website, WP Beacon. It's a very useful tool. So thank you, Austin. We greatly appreciate you telling us all about this and helping to protect the WordPress plugin world, because it seems like we need it now more than ever. Where we had a really good, clean system, more and more lately, it seems that the plugin developers, well, not necessarily the plugin developers, but some bad actors in the plugin developing world have started to appear in the last couple of years. And in particular, it seems like we've had a rash of them in the last few months, even though some of them had done this quite some time ago and just bided their time until they hit the perfect moment to abuse the system. All right, so that would be all we have in the world of talking about supply chain attacks. Now, these supply chain attacks, you also have to be aware that this is for the official WordPress repository. This is not if you get your plugins from a developer's website or GitHub or anywhere else. What you need to do is you need to kind of vet the developer or the company behind the plugin to see what kind of company they are, what kind of reputation do they have. See if they have any sketchy kind of things going on in their past. That 30 plugin hack with the back door. The guy who was doing that, he bought that from somewhere. He bought it, Flippa. That's what it was. Meteoron. Hey, hi Meteoron. Nice to see you. And Ryan, nice to see you all in the chat. So anyway, he bought that plugin, stuffed in his back door, but his background, when people exposed it, he was into some sketchy kind of things, in my personal opinion of it. So at any rate, these are the things you want to look for and pay attention to it. Check out WP Beacon from time to time to see what they want. I know I'd looked at it the other day and there was only like 3 of them in this list. So now there's 13, or no, that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now there's 6 in this list that are malicious. So I'll be keeping an eye on this and see if I can bring it to a weekly to the show for a while. All right, on to something else here. Let's go talk a little bit about Checkout Summit revamp from Rodolfo. Checkout Summit was a week or so ago, and I hear it was a great success in Italy. But he decided to extend that success and bring all of the talks to the website. Not live, but, reloaded for people to do it. It goes live on May 7th and 8th, and he's still got some tickets left. It's online, and you can go watch all of the talks that were given, some of the primo talks that were given. Tickets, I believe I saw somewhere, the tickets are going for 30 euros each. Not all that much. Go check it out and find out a little bit more about Checkout Summit. If you're really deep into WooCommerce, this would be something worthwhile for you to dig into. Don't mind my dog. He sees the need to protect me from the people walking in the parking lot. All right. Let's go talk a little bit about the plugin I have for review today. It's a really good plugin. I rather like it. It's Security Ninja. I checked out the free version. I actually used it on a website to help me out with some few things. WordPress security and firewall. The free version gives you a base firewall. But the one nice thing it does for you is it runs a slew of security checks against your site. Nice. Sandy Schellenberg 363. I hope your chicken coop goes well. Every once in a while, we have naked chickens here, just so you know. All right. Security Ninja, fantastic plugin. It worked very well. I like the slew of additional security checks it does for you once you install it. It goes through, here's the list for it. It checks if application passwords, if automatic WordPress core update are available, and more. And it goes through and shows you what you need and then makes suggestions for it. It's even got some really good suggestions if you don't have the right security headers and how you can insert them into your functions file, your functions PHP file for your child theme. Hopefully you're using one, or, well, if you put it in a regular theme, it'll just get deleted. So you definitely need a child theme. So it's really quite good. It does a really great job. I was really impressed with it. The one thing that got me, well, before we do that, now, if you need more in-depth on here, you will want to upgrade to the Pro version. Pro version, reasonably affordable compared to all the others. It is quite good, but where is some of the stuff I was looking for here? He doesn't have images on here. That's what I was looking for. I was looking for images. Okay. We'll just have to go through the list of tests it runs. It checks for user password, if anyone can register option, checks the age of security keys, checks if debug file log exists, checks if uploads folder is browsable. So it basically goes through and it does all these checks. I needed this one to help clean up. I was cleaning up a client site, well, a semi-client site that came to me to have their site, well, they're a client now, to have their website rescued from a hack. And they didn't have any security, so I put this one in. I've been meaning to get around to testing it for quite some time. I just hadn't had the time. So, on the whole, fantastic plugin. I had no problems with it. It worked great. The only complaint I have is the number of email confirmations I received after I had skipped the block that says, hey, would you like to get our newsletter? It's like, no, I don't need a newsletter. I've got enough. I said no. I said skip it. About 5 minutes later, I got like 3 or 4, hey, confirm your email. It's like, delete them. A couple minutes later, I got 3 or 4. I ended up with a total of like 10, 11 of them. Oh, it was irritating. That's not the most irritating part. The most irritating part, 3 days later, I get another 20 emails asking me to confirm. Now, the big problem is I was trying to figure out where it grabbed my email from, and the only place I can think of, they didn't grab the one for the site because I wasn't the administrator email for the site. They grabbed it out of my WordPress account as I was setting up. Now, I was set up as an administrator on the site, but not the administrator email. You know, for those of you into WordPress, you know the administrator email. So it grabbed the email, even though I told it not to. I didn't enter it, and it just went ahead and then tried to subscribe me. And then first day it sent me 10. 3 days later it sent me 20 reminders. Oh, and they were all within 30 seconds apart. I looked at the timestamps in my emails. It's like they were all like 30 seconds, like bang, 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 bang. It was really quite irritating. Gravity Forms says, hold my beer. Yeah, that's true. I remember when Gravity Forms did that, but I haven't had problems with Gravity Forms. But then again, I've had Gravity Forms since they first came into existence. I've been using Gravity Forms for, I think they were like 2 months old when I bought my license from them. So anyway, it was irritating. Other than that, really fantastic plugin. It is a really great security plugin. Go check it out. Just be aware it might send you numerous confirmations without you actually accepting it. On the whole, quite good. Because it is the free version, not the pro version that I checked out, we're going to give it a 4 dragon rating and go check it out. All right. Before we dive into multiple other things here that I've got for today's show, I got to remind everyone that this is a value for value show, and also remind folks that are listening, if you would like to join me live, it's something I started a couple episodes ago. You can go to the WPPlugins A to Z.com/live, and you can click the link there on the page and join me in Google Meet. And I'm more than happy to have guests on the show while I'm doing this by myself, because it's way easier to talk when I've got a voice to bounce off against than to try and get my own head to create multiple personalities that I can keep talking. So at any rate, the others, this is a value for value show. And the value we're looking for is time, talent, and treasure. The time is getting out there and plugging people in and telling them about the show. Just tell more people about WordPress plugins A to Z. 1 week with me, 1 week with Amber on the show. The week with Amber, a little bit of a different show than the one I'm doing all by myself, and or I do interviews. So we'll talk about the interviews more towards the end of the show here. The other is with talent. And for talent, what we're looking for is for folks to donate their artwork to the show. You can go create your artwork with AI, go to the donate your artwork page and submit your artwork. And you can even submit a nice random video to go into the show too. You know, have AI create cool videos like this one on the screen right now. So you get some really cool videos that way. AI can do a great job. And we'll give you the credit. You give us the title of the image, give us the description, tell us who you are if you want credit for it, and with your AI. Now, almost all my artwork currently showcased in the thing is all done by me and Grok. Grok does the hard work, the heavy lifting of creating it. I do the second heavy lifting of coming up with a really cool prompt and some inspiration for him to come up with the artwork. The other one is, of course, donating to the show with your treasure. Time, talent, and treasure. And the donation, just go to the treasure donations page on the website and pick a number. Any number between 1 and 1 million or 1 billion. We'll take 1 billion. 1 million would be nice too. Pick a number that means something to you. Donate it through PayPal and leave us a note. We will read it out on the show for you. Guaranteed. Every single time. All right, so that's enough of the time, talent, and treasure. Let folks know a couple of improvements over at the WP Plugins A to Z site. One of the improvements is I've been working hard on the search function. The search function is getting better and better at finding where we reviewed a specific plugin by name. It's almost got it. I've still got some work to do on the index for it, for tweaking, but it's getting a lot better when I go, God, did I review this plugin? And I go type in the name and boom, I'm starting to find it now instead of all the junk I used to find. So that's a really good improvement. The other improvement here is we now have a subsection just for the Unplugged show. It's got its own archive. I've got to go through and create the archive for all of the, go through and create the archive for, or move all the posts for this into its own specific thing. I created a custom post type for this, and ACP is ACF, Advanced Custom Fields. There we go. ACF, Advanced Custom Fields, is fantastic for separating out your content and then creating custom templates using Elementor to build all of this out. All right, let's move along a little bit here. I need to take a little bit of coffee for this mess here. The hard part about doing it by myself is finding a space to drink the coffee. I guess that just gives a little bit of silence to the show. Submit block-related plugins, Meteoron. We'll still review them. I'll still review block-related plugins. I won't use them, but I will review them. And on this show here, I'm looking at, I've got a backlog of reviews right now to do, and so I'll be bringing plugins to the show that I've not tossed into a website, but I'll read up all of them, and I'll go do some research and bring it in. So we are going to catch up with that, even if we don't have time to literally review any. The biggest problem is you know, I got to make a living, so I have clients to service, and that doesn't give me a lot of time to play. And then when I have time to play, I'm usually working on my own projects. All right, let's talk a little bit about, I've got some coding tips this week. A couple of interesting, cool coding tips for those out there. One of them here is ShieldCon, an open source, beautiful README badges creation generator for README badges. These are some really cool stuff. It allows you to go type in what you're looking for as a README badge and then use them. These are the same README badges that are used on your GitHub profile. And in particular, when I look at one of my READMEs on GitHub, you get these badges like this. So you can actually use this README generator to generate you some really cool README badges. And they got the different variations of it all. They help you find all the different things in here, your introduction on how to do it. So I thought that was a cool little thing. Now, this one here, this coding tip here is from Delicious Brains, and it's Beyond WP-NQ. And they're showing you how to integrate the WP script's global identity, hidden bloat, and use high-priority dequeuing to strip away unnecessary assets without breaking your site's critical dependencies. If you're coding stuff up, this is a really great one too. If you're looking for ways to improve site speeds, this could help you out. So I'm looking at things like this. I'm just now getting my brain around this stuff. I'd never bothered in the past to dig this deeply into things. But bribes? Oh, absolutely. I'll take bribes, man. Sorry. Nice one, Media Ron. Yeah, well, I try to catch what people put into the chat, but I often get sidetracked. I've got 4 monitors here, and the YouTube function is over on the left-hand monitor, and everything else is in. I got 2 monitors stacked above each other over here on the right-hand side for dealing with my notes and watching what I'm doing and showcasing you all. Anyway. The programming dequeuing, the surgical strike, it's really a very useful thing. It's like I am digging deeper into this and I'm learning how to make sites faster. I mean, my most impressive one right now is when you go to wppluginzataz.com or wppluginzataz.com is the speed of this site. This site here was the most sluggish thing in the world, and you can see it's not lacking in graphics or videos or anything anymore. But it was still just slow. But what I've done is I've done a lot of bits and pieces and tweaking. The biggest one, I talked about it recently on a show, is going in and cleaning up your database. And that's something I'm doing for client sites as I rebuild them, is clean up their database. I was working on a client's project that we're getting ready to launch soon. We'll be talking about that one as it goes live. It's a fantastic website. But when I was cleaning up his database, I found tens of thousands of abandoned rows in the site, orphan tables, orphan rows, orphan content. The auto load function. The auto load function was almost 2 megs in size. The auto load function is a really big one on your website. If you've got a slow loading website, there's a good chance your auto load function is choking you down just on that alone. And the worst part is over half the auto load function was WordPress core stuff. I can't remember the piece I cleaned up in it right at the moment, but once I cleaned it up, the auto load dropped dramatically. And it's an auto generated file. I don't know, I didn't get the full skinny on what it is, but at any rate, go check out that article on Beyond WP-NQ and look at ways you can clean up your website and make it faster. And also, if it's something you use for a plugin, there you go, all the better. Okay, this week's featured promotion. Every week I will have a new featured promotion for the show. Now, the featured promotions are my way of sharing out a premium plugin that either I'm using or would like to use or I think is really valuable for the community. It's not something I can use. There's a lot of those out there. So I'm going to showcase them And sometimes they'll stick around for a couple of weeks. Sometimes I'll change them out every other week. Well, this week here, I'm continuing to showcase Toggle WP. Toggle WP is a full-blown system mostly for people who manage WordPress website. It comes with a lot of tools. Where's the tools list for it? Benefits. Partner program, knowledge base, change logs. I'm trying to remember. Okay, here we go. It's got security modules, login monitoring, admin notifications, security authentication, session management, admin modules for plugin control, staging site. Now, the plugin control one here is to lock out the other admins from changing and updating the plugins. I actually wrote a plugin for this myself, not knowing this existed. The utility modules, reminders, scroll tracking. Scroll tracking is kind of interesting to see how far people scroll and go in depth into your site. Search filters, UI cleanup, media modules such as media management, draggable images, marketing modules, newsletter subscribers, communication modules, content modules. There's quite a few modules in this. Now, when I first put this onto a client's site, that was one of the first places I put it, we discovered the security functions were very useful. We discovered the login monitoring allows you to monitor where people are logging from and to limit logins to specific countries, which I found very useful. But what was more interesting was that we discovered that their logins, administrators that had been removed from the site were still logging into it. They weren't doing anything, but they were still logging into it. So we fixed that. And also fixed the problem with, turns out one of the passwords had been compromised and we didn't know it because we had people logging in from a country that should never have a login to the site. So little things like that can really help you out. So it's a fantastic plugin, and it does have a partner program. And you might want to go check out the partner program and see, apply for the partnership program. And with the partner program, you get an agency license to help out with it, which is what I've got. And then you get a limited number of sites you can put it on with the agency license. And then above and beyond that, you start buying licenses. Fair enough. It's a really great plugin. So go check it out. Toggle WP. There we go. Get the words out right. All right. That's enough babbling in that component there. It's time to go babble on with another. Well, before we do that, let's see here. Okay, I'll move some things around in my show notes, but we'll just go on with. We'll go talk about some WordPress items and some WordPress tips and news. What I've got here first is an article on how you can go fix a slow WordPress dashboard. This is from Profile Press. If I slow down, I can talk just fine. It's when I get talking too fast. More coffee. All right. They talk about some of the obvious things: outdated PHP, WordPress, older WordPress version, admin toolbars and widgets. And this is a really good one here because I have a couple of sites where several of the plugins, I got to go figure out how to turn off their admin toolbar add-ons because I don't need those items in my admin toolbar. But every time I load the page, it has to load all that, which can increase your page load time in your admin dashboard. Bloated database, well, we talked about that already. Bloated database causes you all kinds of problems all over the site, both back and front. Lack of object caching, well, that's something you may or may not have control over. Low WordPress memory limit, now this is a big one. And this falls back to really cheap hosting, giving you a significant limitation on the memory you can allocate for your WordPress website. You need to get decent quality web hosting for that. You can always check out wppro-a-to-z-host.com for that kind of hosting or quality. And they go through and tell you what to do, give you some tweaks, and kind of explain to you what you're looking at and what you're doing. So it's kind of helpful and it'll help you get everything out. So go check out this article if you're looking for some tips and tricks. Even us old timers can sometimes tease out some new information from what we think is obvious. It happens to me all the time. I think, that's obvious. And I read it and go, hey, I didn't know about that little teeny tiny bit. That might add me a new thing to it. Now, here is another one. WordPress can now see who's in the building. Now, this is something coming down the pike for WordPress core, and that is to show you who is online. Now, there are plugins for this. We've reviewed a plugin. I can't remember what it's called, but it's for telling you what the users are online, if your users are online on the site. Now, this is going to be going into the core, and it's going to be in a Who's Online widget in your dashboard, and avatar stack in the admin bar showing users currently in the same screen. Editors column in your post line to see if you have active editors before you click, and an online filter. Well, this sounds like the plugin I'm using, and it sounds like they're just incorporating it into the core. So at any rate, it's going to be in the core. It's something they're adding to the system, and it's experimental, not in core yet. Okay, so we have a plugin for that. Oh no, I thought this was something going into the core, WP Stack. Okay, well, we have a plugin for that. I can't remember the name of it. What was the name of that plugin? Users online, let's see here. Come on, load. Load here on another screen so we can look it up. FullWorks Active Users Monitor. And it's free. Go check it out. FullWorks Active Users Monitor. That gives you exactly what they're talking about here. For some reason, I thought I misread the article. I didn't read that last little bit at the bin. Should you install, and they want to give you a 5-user demo or a 40-user version, and it's in the WordPress. Yeah. So, well, if you need more than that, you can check out the one that I just mentioned, which doesn't have a limit on the number of users it shows you. For the client I use it for, where we have a dozen people managing the website. And I know if they're online before I start doing updates. Which is a good thing, because if people are doing things, this is one of the big keys. If you're the person who manages the updates, it's good to know who's online before you start doing updates and where they're located. Because if they're publishing a page or working on a page and you start doing updates, they could be down for 30 seconds to a minute while the plugin updates, which could impact their saving something. All right. The other one I've got here, if you're a commercial plugin author, you can use the free WP plugin info card to add your plugin, enable a REST endpoint, and allow others to subscribe to your data. And this is from Media Ron. Hey, there you go, Ron. We're already promoting your stuff. How's that? I didn't even realize that. I just made the connection. That would be me. All right. I thought it was a pretty cool thing. I didn't dig real deeply into it, but it looked interesting, and I needed to spend more time on it, but I wasn't certain everything on it, and I had to do some reading and research. But go check it out. It's a really good link in the show notes. Takes you to his Twitter page, and then takes you to the custom plugins cards page. And it looks like something that works inside WordPress, so we will see what this does. I will have to experiment further with this, and who knows, I'll come back to it at a later point in time. With that, let's dive into another WordPress plugin. Uh-oh. I forgot to get a link for the plugin. That would be my bad. Let's go get the link for the plugin real quick. And we pop that into the show notes. Oops, that's not what we wanted. There we go. Link for the show notes. No. There we go. Silly thing. Okay. I love Evernote, but some of their most recent updates I don't love so much. They're kind of irritating. All right. Plugin we're talking about here is called Email Blacklist for Elementor Forms. And that was where we'll be talking about. We'll roll from this into, actually what we'll do is we'll roll from the whole thing of the show. Form spammers deserving the 9th level of Dante's Infernal. Let's just send them right in there. Okay, here's a way to banish them for Elementor. Now, I've never used Elementor forms before. Problem is, I was in a hurry, and I needed to put up a landing page, and I didn't feel like taking the time to go create a gravity form and do all that. I just wanted something simple, clean, concise. I threw it in, threw the reCAPTCHA in there, and figured, okay, that should do the job for me. Well, not so much. Not with Elementor form. And there's very little you can do on Elementor forms for stopping the spammers to come in there. They don't have a built-in way to block emails or domains or countries. But they do have a honeypot field, which is built in. And the honeypot fields are good to a point, but the bots have long since learned how to get, yeah, bribes are working, absolutely. How about the hint of bribes? There you go. The hint of bribes. That gets him what he wants. So, thanks, Influence WP. Thanks, Ryan. All right. So, at any rate, the honeypot only works to a point, and the bots have long since figured out ways around the honeypots. Although there is a cool little feature in Elementor where you can put multiple honeypots in there, give them different names, and now they'll answer different honeypots, which increases the security a little bit. So I'm told, or so I've read. The other one, of course, is reCAPTCHA, Google reCAPTCHA, and it's either version 2 or 3, depending on your key codes. I throw in version 2, click the box that I'm not a bot here, and I guess they work. They've also got a Kismet, but I have a thing against the Kismet, have had a thing against the Kismet for over a decade now. It does not go on any of my sites. If anyone becomes a client of me and they've got a Kismet, I remove it as rapidly as possible, mainly because it's bloated and it creates problems. So we were having troubles with it. I put the thing in. Within 3 days, I ended up with a whole bunch of spam, like 10 of them. It's like it came through. And it's like, really? So I'm like, okay, well, almost all of them came from .ru domains, which is a big one, and some of them came from .de domains, which is another big one. Or at least that's the email address that they're using when they sign up. So I looked at it and go, okay, well, what I can do? And it's like, okay, they don't have a block-specific domain. So I did a little research and came up with this plugin. Email Blacklist for Elementor Forms. Very simple add-on, which just adds a block into your form that blocks any email addresses you put in. You just put in a comma-separated list of what domains you would like to block. Very simple, easy, and it seems to have done the job. I've not had another .ru or .de domain come through. I've had other spam with different domains, but this seems to be the problem of it. I'll be probably later this week when I have a little more time, I'll go in and create a proper gravity form with all of my protections and the plugin I wrote for gravity forms for blocking spam, which is working very, very well, and use that to block out the spam. I mean, the plugin I wrote helped cut my spam down to less than 5%. So the determined people are still going to do it. They'll sit there and they'll manually fill out your form and still manually submit it. Those are the real determined spammers. Those ones there drive me mental. It's like, really? Why? Okay, well, whatever. Now, if you're trying for other ways to block spam in Gravity forms, or not Gravity forms, in using Elementor forms, if you're going to use them, they're really not the best option. When they save the info, they just save it as a list in Elementor that you got to export out as a CSV. You're not sticking them in anywhere else. You know, with at least with Gravity forms, if you're going to use something like MailPoet, it'll integrate with your MailPoet mailing list and it'll automatically add them to the list. So these are the things I was going to do, but I didn't have time, so I thought I would just start small and build up to it. It is a side project, personal pet project, another personal pet project. My side quests, I have a very long list of side quests. Every once in a while I accomplish one and it's like, woohoo, finish a side quest. All right, the other things you can do, and they're in the show notes here, is you can create some custom code snippet, add functions to the PHP. Errors, you can add advanced plugins like Mask Pick, Spam Lock, or Oops Spam. Oops Spam has been mediocre for me when I've tried to use it in the past. So, code-based business email only filters, block providers. There's a whole lot of other little tips in here. You can do a little more research on that and dig down and find out what's happening with it all. All right. Now, back to finishing up the review of this plugin. The email blacklist, very easy to install, activate. It works quite nicely. It not automatically, I added my list to it and it started blocking them all out. And I like this question here. Is it ethical to block entire domains from sending form mails? Yes, it is. What do you mean probably not? Oh, it's absolutely ethical to block entire domains. It's your website. You can decide who gets to fill out forms on your website or who doesn't get to fill out forms on your website. If you want to block entire domains, block entire domains. Email blacklist support regex. Nope. Okay, you got to enter the full thing. Okay. And does the plugin do anything else? Nope. It's just a very simple plugin. I like his questions. Anyway, it's a really great plugin. Very simple, easy to activate, and it's free, so we're going to give this one a 5 dragon rating. There we go. We got a 5 dragoner there. All right. We're going to close this show out here. We've got two last things. One, my pet peeve for this week, my continuing pet peeve, I should say, is the search function for the plugin repo for when you search for the exact title of the plugin, and it's pretty unique. That plugin doesn't appear on the first page of your results, or it appears way down at the bottom of the first page. It should appear number 1. It is the most irritating, ongoing thing in the WordPress repo to this date. All this headache around the core, it's like I wish WordPress would just spend some time fixing the search function. It's been broken for years. There you go. There's my pet peeve for this week. The core search function. That's why plugins like YARP exist and plugins like Ivory Search, which is what I'm using on WP plugins now, exist, because the core WordPress search function sucks wind. It doesn't matter whether it's searching for a plugin or searching for a post on your website. Even in the back end, it sometimes gets it right and sometimes doesn't. It's really a pain in the neck. All right. Interviews for the show. We have some upcoming dates. We have blocked off and closed off the ones for May since no one booked them. We are now open for June 1st and 15th and 29th to book an interview for the show. I will do a full-blown interview about you, your plugins, WordPress community, anything you got, whatever your service or product is, if it's related or helpful to the WordPress community, I will happily do an interview with you. They last about an hour long. It's all free range. I'll generate some form of questions to ask you, but you won't get a pre-approved list from me. It's either do it or don't. I also have open July 13th and 27th for plugin interview bookings, and to do that, simply go to wppluginsa2z.com www.wordpress.com/book and book your interview. Just fill out the form, all the info, all the little bits and pieces we need, and then submit it, and they will send you back a thing that allows you to book, and then we'll send you back a thing for the interview. We do the interviews using MS Teams. Most people have used it, so it works fairly well. And we still have nobody pop over on Google Meet, which, well, sooner or later, that will actually grab some attention. All right, the final bit I have here today is just talking a little bit about other shows and places you can get more WordPress training information. You can go check out WP Roads over on YouTube. They've got a good slew of videos. They're available on the website to go check out. Talking about WordPress 7 features. Looks like it's the latest one, 3 weeks ago. Then we got WP Mayor. That's another thing you can do for us. Go fill out the contact form and send me other links for other content you would like to see me share here. WP Builds on you or WP Mayor on YouTube. Why did I say WP Roads? I don't know. WP Tonic, the world's worst web developer on YouTube. He's got a lot of really great stuff. A lot of his are pretty interesting. And more. There's a nice long list that's slowly increasing, and I'm slowly adding more and more content to that. All right. I think that's going to close us on out of here. I'd like to thank everyone for showing up today. That was quite an impressive list. We had 7 people show up here for the live show. So thank you very much. I'm going to let our girl take us on out of here, and then we'll have a little music for those that like to hear some good country music.
Reminders for the show. All the show notes can be found at wppluginsa2z.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the newsletter for more useful information delivered directly to your inbox. WP Plugins A to Z is a show that offers honest and unbiased reviews of plugins created by you, the developers, because you support the show. Help keep the show honest and unbiased by going to wppluginsa2z.com/donate and set the donation level that fits your budget. Help us make the show better for you by subscribing and reviewing the show through your favorite podcast app. You can also watch the show live on YouTube at WP Plugins A to Z, and remember to subscribe and hit the bell to get notifications of all new videos. You can also follow the show on X at WP Plugins A to Z. John can be reached directly through the website wpproatoz.com or email him at john@wppro.ca. Amber can also be contacted through the website at wpproatoz.com or email her directly, amber@wppro.ca. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day, and we'll see you next week.
Don't claim to know your story, don't even have my own. In the search for glory, gone with them sacred rules of old. They went missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, sitting doing time. Preacher man discovered, passed down from saint to sage, like a kind-hearted lover who's been lost on this stage. Went missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, sitting doing time. crossroads, sitting doing time. Junkie and the jigger, just seen who done the crime. Captain pulled the trigger, guess who's doing time? They went missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, is he yours or is he mine? Don't claim to know your story, don't even have my own. In our search for glory, gone with them sacred rules of old. We're missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, sitting doing time. Devil's at a crossroads, Joker's doing fine. Just sitting doing
There we have it. Thank you all.
Oh my god, that is amazing!
Oh no. Obviously we just lost the satellite feed.